In a world made of bright, wobbly lines, lived Doodle. Doodle was not just any drawing. He was a special character. He had a round body, two big, curious eyes, and a smile that could stretch from one side of the paper to the other. Doodle was made of pure imagination. His lines were drawn with a brave blue crayon. He dreamed of big things. More than anything, Doodle wanted to be a hero. He imagined himself saving the day. He pictured himself helping others. This was his biggest, most colorful dream. It filled every part of his little paper heart with hope and excitement. Doodle lived in a place called Sketchbook City. What a place it was! The buildings were all different shapes. Some were tall like giraffes. Others were short and round like beach balls. The sky was a beautiful shade of sky blue pink. The clouds looked like fluffy cotton candy. The sun was a giant happy circle with rays that wiggled. Rivers of sparkling glitter paint flowed through the city. The trees had leaves of every color you could possibly imagine. It was a happy, busy, and very, very colorful world. Everything was drawn with a sense of fun and a little bit of silliness. Every morning, Doodle would climb to the top of the tallest building. It was a tower made of stacked-up erasers. From there, he could see all of Sketchbook City. He watched the other drawings go about their day. He saw pencil-drawn cars zoom on paper roads. He saw ink-blot birds fly in the sky. He would sigh a happy sigh. One day, he would say to a friendly, floating question mark, "One day, I will do something truly heroic. I will make this city even brighter." He just didn't know how or when his big chance would come. He just knew he had to be ready for it. But being a hero wasn't easy, even in his dreams. Doodle would practice his heroic poses in front of a shiny puddle of silver ink. He would try to look brave. He would puff out his chest. He would put his hands on his hips. He would try to make a serious face. But most of the time, he would just end up giggling. He was a fun-loving character, after all. He knew a real hero needed more than just a good pose. A real hero needed a real problem to solve. And a very big problem was just around the corner, waiting to smudge his perfect world. One morning, something was very wrong in Sketchbook City. Doodle woke up and rubbed his big eyes. He looked out his window. The sky was not sky blue pink anymore. It was a dull, sad gray. The glitter rivers had stopped sparkling. The colorful trees looked pale and tired. The vibrant reds, the cheerful yellows, and the bright blues were all gone. All the beautiful colors were disappearing. The whole city looked like a half-finished drawing. It was a very big problem. It was a very gray problem. The city was losing its happiness. It was losing its spark. Doodle felt a shiver run down his blue-lined spine. This was a disaster. Sketchbook City without its colors was like a song without music. It was like a joke without a punchline. The other drawings in the city looked worried too. They moved slowly. Their usual happy smiles were gone. They were replaced with wobbly, uncertain frowns. Doodle looked at his own hands. Even his own brave blue color seemed a little bit faded. He felt a big knot of worry in his tummy. How could he be a hero now? He felt so small and unsure. This problem was much bigger than he had ever imagined. He walked through the gray streets. Everything was quiet. The usual happy chatter of the city was gone. A little circle character rolled by, leaving a faint gray trail. It looked up at Doodle with sad eyes. "What's happening?" it chirped in a tiny, weak voice. "Where did all the fun go?" Doodle didn't have an answer. He just patted the little circle gently. He felt his own confidence fading away like the colors. He wanted to be brave, but fear was starting to creep in. It felt like a big gray smudge on his heart. He had always dreamed of being a hero, but now he just wanted to hide. Doodle sat down on a gray bench. He put his head in his hands. "How can I fix this?" he whispered to himself. "I'm just one little drawing. I don't have any superpowers. I don't have a magic pencil." He looked around the silent, colorless city. The challenge felt too big. The grayness seemed to be getting bigger and bigger. He felt completely and utterly lost. For the first time in his life, Doodle didn't know what to do. The dream of being a hero felt very, very far away. He felt more like a scribble than a brave character. Just as Doodle was feeling his most hopeless, he heard a sound. It was a soft, squeaky sound. He looked up and saw a little mouse. But this was no ordinary mouse. It was made of folded paper like origami. The mouse had a long, pointy nose and a tail that curled like a ribbon. "I know what's wrong," the mouse squeaked. "My name is Crease. The colors were stolen by the great smudge who lives in the Eraser Mountains. I saw him!" Doodle's eyes widened. He wasn't alone anymore. He had a clue, and he had a new friend. This little paper mouse was brave. Soon, another character appeared. It was a tall, graceful figure made of shiny, colorful tape. She shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, even though the rest of the world was gray. "My name is Spectra," she said, her voice like wind chimes. "I have a little bit of color left inside me. I can light up dark places. The great smudge is afraid of bright lights and happy thoughts. We can face him together." Doodle looked at Crease the paper mouse and Spectra the tape girl. Suddenly, he didn't feel so scared. He felt a little spark of hope. A team was forming. "Let's go then," Doodle declared. His voice was a little shaky, but it was full of new energy. "We have to get our colors back." Crease pointed his pointy nose toward the distant Eraser Mountains. They looked tall and scary on the horizon. Spectra glowed softly, creating a small circle of light around them. The three friends started their journey. They walked out of the gray city and into the unknown lands. They worked together. Crease was small and quick. He could scout ahead and find safe paths. Spectra's light kept the scary shadows away. Their adventure was full of challenges. They had to cross the river of spilled ink. It was dark and sticky. Doodle, thinking quickly, drew a big, sturdy bridge with a piece of charcoal he found. He learned he didn't need a magic pencil to be clever. Later, they got lost in the whispering woods, where the trees told silly, confusing riddles. Spectra used her bright light to show them the one true path. Crease used his sharp ears to listen for the way out. Through it all, Doodle learned that working together made them stronger. Every step they took, he felt a little braver and a little smarter. Finally, they reached the Eraser Mountains. At the very top was a big, grumpy-looking cave. Inside, they found the Great Smudge. He was a giant, grumpy blob of gray clay, and all around him were the stolen colors trapped in gray, gloomy jars. The Great Smudge grumbled, "I hate bright colors. They are too happy. Gray is much more peaceful." Doodle's heart pounded. The smudge was big and intimidating. For a moment, Doodle wanted to run, but then he looked at his friends, Crease and Spectra. They looked at him with trust in their eyes. He knew he couldn't let them down. Doodle took a deep breath. He remembered what Spectra said. The Great Smudge was afraid of happy thoughts. He didn't fight with his fists, he used his heart. He started to tell a very silly joke. It was a joke about a pickle who wanted to be a pop star. Crease started to giggle, a squeaky little sound. Spectra began to glow brighter and brighter with happiness. Doodle then started to draw funny faces in the air. He drew smiling suns and dancing flowers. He remembered all the happy, colorful things about Sketchbook City. He wasn't just drawing, he was sharing his joy. The Great Smudge couldn't stand it. The jokes were too funny. The light from Spectra was too bright. The happy drawings were too cheerful. "No, stop! It's too much happiness!" he roared. With a final big grumble, the Great Smudge started to shrink. He wasn't so scary anymore. He was just a sad little lump of clay. The gray jars shattered and the colors exploded out. They flew back towards Sketchbook City like a beautiful rainbow storm. The world was instantly filled with life and joy again. The sky turned sky blue pink once more. Doodle, Crease, and Spectra returned to a very happy and very colorful city. Everyone cheered for them. Doodle was a hero. He had saved the day. But as he stood there, he looked at his friends. He realized that being a hero wasn't about being the strongest or the bravest all by yourself. It was about being kind. It was about being clever. And most importantly, it was about having good friends by your side. True courage wasn't about not being afraid. It was about being afraid but doing the right thing anyway, together. And that was the best discovery of all.